Okay. So we're going to read the problem, identify the variable. We want to make sure that we define our variable if it doesn't tell us what the variable is. We're going to write the equation, solve it, and then write a sentence to answer the question. Sometimes we don't necessarily need a sentence, but sometimes we do. All right, so Tony and Michael ran separately for a total of 75 minutes. Tony ran 35 minutes. How many minutes did Michael run? So what's the variable? The variable is always the question. So I'm going to say let M equal the number of minutes. I got to flip this around. I'm sorry. Michael ran. And I know that's super specific, but I'm a math teacher, so I need to be super specific. So all together, they ran 75 minutes. So how do I show that? All together, they ran 75 minutes. What does... How about 35 plus M? Is that okay? Because that's the variable I'm using. Yeah, I'm going to take Tony's time, 35, plus Michael's time. And that phrase altogether or total tells you that that's going to be an addition problem. And the total is how much they ended up with, 75 minutes. So this is just a real quick one-step equation. So this is our defining the variable. This is our equation. And when we solve this, how are we going to solve this equation? Yeah, subtract 35 from both sides. And when we subtract 35 from both sides, we find out that M equals 40. So we're going to answer the question. So how many minutes did Michael run? Yeah, Michael ran 40 minutes. You guys know how to do something like that, right? That's good. Felt good about that one? Are you guys accustomed to defining your variable? Like using the phrase let something equal something? Okay, awesome. Let's go to the next one. So this is kind of like the first warm-up I gave you with the perimeter question. The sum of 3 times a number and negative 29 equals 94. We're trying to find the number. So this is our variable. What variable do we want to use for the number? What'd you say? N? Who else? Did someone else say N? So let N equal a number. Okay. So how do I show 3? So first of all, what does the sum of mean? Sum means that we're going to do what kind of a problem? Addition. Sum means that we're going to do an addition problem. Okay. So how do I show 3 times a number? And N is our number. 3N. So I have 3N plus, and what am I adding to the 3N? Negative 29 equals 94. So this is our equation. How are we going to solve that? What should we do to solve it? What do you think, Evan? Yeah, we're going to add 29 to both sides. And when I do that, I'm going to kind of work over here. I have 3N equals, well, 94 plus 29 is 123. Is that right? Okay. What should I do next? Divide by 3. So N equals 41. Chop, are you taking notes for me or are you taking a nap? So are you taking notes? Yeah or no? Not really? Do you come back here and stand by me? There's plenty of room. Okay. Then keep your head up and take notes. All right. So these are all of the word phrases. I'm sure that you guys learned this in 8th grade, maybe even 7th grade. So these are all of the words that we use to mean like addition, subtraction, multiply, divide. I'm not going to go through all of these because I think that would be a waste of our time, and I want to make sure that you all have enough time to do your quiz. So that's why I just put them in our notes. Notice that there's something special right here. So when we think about the words that mean subtraction, if I say less than, subtracted from, or taken away, for example, if I said 5, that really looks like an S. If I said 5 subtracted from 8, I wanted you to write that expression. Are you going to write it as 5 minus 8? Is that what that says? No, Rosie, what does it say? Yeah, it would be 8 minus 5. So less than, subtracted from, and taken away, or fewer than, they have a little like asterisk by them because you have to change the order. You have to change the order. So you switch the way that it's written in the problem. So the problem was 5 and 8, like the numbers in order were 5 and 8, but you really have to change it to 8 minus 5. So those words, phrases that have the asterisks by them, those are words that mean you have to change the order. Phrases that mean multiplication. Phrases that mean division. And then power, square, cube. Okay. What words indicate that you should use an equal sign? If I said 4n is 12, what word meant equal? Is. What if I said 6y is the same as 24? What phrase did I use to mean equal? Is the same as. You might see equivalent. I know that's kind of a given, but that might be another one. Okay. So I think our next problem is going to be, I call those dirt problems. Distance equals rate multiplied by time. Distance equals rate multiplied by time. So D stands for distance equals rate multiplied by time. So example number 15 says, suppose you travel 162 miles in 3 hours. We're going to use the formula D equals RT to find our average speed. So what does 162 miles represent in the formula D equals RT? Stands for the distance. Exactly. Good job, Evan. What does the 3 hours represent? Represents our time. So who feels like they can say what the formula or the equation should be? McKinley. Yeah, 162 equals 3, our time, multiplied by our rate. Do you see how we did that? We just replaced the D in the formula with 162, and we replaced the T with the number 3, and McKinley set them up so that 3 is in front of the R. What are we going to do to solve this? Divide both sides by 3. So my rate is 3 will go into 16 5 times with 15. That leaves me 12 left over. 3 goes into 12 4 times. So we're talking about miles per hour. So that's my rate, 54 miles per hour. Miles per hour. You might also see it as 54 mph. Alexis, are you sleeping? Okay. Are we good with that? Holy moly. Okay. So let's talk about average. So what does it mean to average something? Oh, Sailor, I thought you had your hand up. No. Rosie. So add the digits and then divide by the number of digits to equal the average. Or add the numbers, divide by the number of numbers, and that's how you find your average. So in the first 5 quizzes, Lena scored 24, 18, 25, 19, and 21 points. We need to write and solve an equation to determine how many points she needs to score on the 6th quiz. So here's the question: how many points she needs to score on her 6th quiz to have an average of exactly 21 points per quiz? So I underlined the variable. What the variable is always the question. So what letter do you want to use to represent the number of points she needs to score on quiz number 6? P. I agree. Let's let P equal number of points needed on the 6th quiz. P is the number of points needed on the 6th quiz. So Rosie, you said that I have to add up all of the numbers. So let's start with that. I have a 24 plus an 18 plus a 25 plus a 19 plus a 21. But I'm trying to figure out, I want her average after 6 tests to be 21. That means that this fraction that I'm dividing by has to be, how many test scores is she going to have? She has 5 right now. We want to figure out her 6th score. So the other thing that we have to add is the variable P. So we have 6 scores at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, divided by 6, and it has to equal 21. Does that make sense? So tell me how to get rid of that 6 in the denominator. What do you think? Lorelai, sorry. Yeah, we're going to multiply both sides by 6. So on the fraction side, I'm going to write it as 6 over 1. But on the non-fraction side, I'm just going to write times 6. And the reason I do that is because we were able to cancel that out. Does that make sense? Okay. 21 times 6 is 126. And I can combine all of these terms together. So let's see, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 112. I think it's 117. Did someone check that with a calculator? What is it? 107? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, it is 107. Thank you, Macy. So 107 plus P equals 126. So now what? Yeah, subtract 107 from both sides. So P equals 19. So my sentence, Lena must score What does she have to score in her next test? Yeah, 19 points. I think it's quiz, sorry. So she must score 19 points on her next quiz. I think we have 2 more examples. Three more examples. All right, perimeter. We talked about perimeter the first day that I put a warm up on the board. What does perimeter mean? Add all the sides. So if the shape has 5 sides, doesn't matter how many sides it has, we just add up all the sides. So perimeter is the sum of the sides. So perimeter of triangle ABC is 36 inches. So I'm going to draw a picture because pictures help my brain. And I'm going to label each vertice of my triangle A, B, and C. Now the perimeter of this triangle is 36 inches. It tells us that in the reading. It says side AB is 10 inches long. So I'm going to put 10 inches on this side. And then it says that side BC is 2 inches longer than side AC. We need to find the length of side BC. So what are you thinking? Well, so we need to use an X, right? And we're going to let X equal the side, the measure of side what? Yeah, the measure of side AC. X is the measure of side AC. And then BC, I heard someone say is what? Who is that? Is that Tessa? Good job, Tessa. So Tessa, how are we going to, what's our equation going to look like? Perfect. Can I combine like terms? What 2 terms can I group together? What do you think, Jordis? Do you see anything I can group together in this equation right here to make it easier to work with? Help her out, Alexis. Yeah, I can combine the x's. What is x plus x? 2x. Okay. Sydney, do you see anything else that we can combine? How about the 10 and the 2? Do you guys notice that the parenthesis doesn't do anything? It just groups that third side. So I can combine 10 plus 2. What is 10 plus 2? 12 equals 36. So I want to solve this. So what should I do first? Subtract 12. Thank you, Elena. I think that was you. Yes. So 2x equals 24. Divide both sides by 2, and I find out that x equals 12. But x is side AC, and I want to know what side BC is. BC is the expression x plus 2. So the measure of BC is 14 inches. Don't forget your units. Okay, so did we answer the question? Okay. Let's talk about a definition of consecutive integers. What does the word consecutive mean? Kind of. Someone give me an example of things like of consecutive. In a row, right? In a row. Yeah. So consecutive integers like 1, 2, 3. Okay. Those are consecutive integers. How would I show consecutive integers if I let 1 be the variable x? The first integer was x. How would I show the second integer? It would be x plus 1. And how would I show the third integer? X plus 2. And it goes on and on and on. So this would be 3 consecutive integers right here. This is how we would show 3 consecutive integers. What if I had consecutive even integers? So like 2, 4, and 6. If x was the first even integer, how would I show the next even integer? Yes, sign up, Naomi. X plus 2. And how would I show the next consecutive integer? X plus 4. So this is an example of 3 consecutive even integers. Sorry. Okay. What if I had consecutive odd integers like I'm going to do 7, 9, and 11. Those are 3 odd integers in a row. How would I show, if the first integer is x, how would I show the second odd integer? How much did I add to the 7 to make it equal 9? 2. And how much did I add to the 7 to make it equal 11? 4, right? So it's funny that the terms that we use to add consecutive odd integers and consecutive even integers are the same. This represents 3 consecutive odd integers. So consecutive odd and consecutive even are set up the same way. X plus 2, x plus 4, x plus 6. So if you had to add 10 consecutive integers, you would just keep going, right? Does that make sense? So when we do these problems, we want to identify all of our variables, the first integer, the second integer, the third integer. So when I look at example 19, it says I'm finding the sum of 3 consecutive integers. So if x is the first integer, what expression do I use to represent the second integer? These are consecutive in a row. What expression did we use for consecutive? So what would be the second integer? Miles. Yes, x plus 1. Like if this first one was 5, then the next one would be 6. The third one would be 7. Those aren't really the right numbers, but that's how you would set that up. So the third integer would be represented by what expression? X plus, that's all I heard. 2. Good job. Okay. Lanaya, was that you? Good job. Okay, so it says the sum of all 3 of these is 99. So that means this I'm going to take all of these and add them together. So this is my first integer plus my second integer plus my third integer. Maybe it'll help if I change the colors of each one. I don't know. So this is the second integer, and this is the third integer. And they all equal 99. So we're going to have to combine some like terms. How many x's do I have all day? So 3 x's plus how many constants when I combine like terms? 3x plus 1 plus 2 is equals. So I'm going to do what next? Subtract 3. So I have 3x equals 96. Divide both sides by 3, and I find out that x equals, so that means my first integer is 32. What is my next integer? And the next integer? 34. How do you guys feel about that? Okay. The sum of 4 consecutive even integers is 60. What is the largest? This is just asking for the largest. So what's our first integer going to be represented by? X. What's our second integer going to be represented by? Yeah, good job. X plus 2, because these are even. And our third integer, x plus 4. And our fourth integer, x plus 6. Yeah, it says their sum, so I have to add them all together. X is my first integer, plus x plus 2 is my second integer, plus x plus 4 is my third integer, plus x plus 6 is my fourth integer, and they all equal, or they all sum up to 60. How many x's do I have all day? 4. 4x plus, when I combine my like terms for the constants, 12 equals 60. Subtract 12 from both sides. 4x equals 48. Divide both sides by 4, and I find out that x equals 12. So my first integer is 12. My next even integer is, and then 16, and then 18. And the question is, what is the largest of the integers? So the largest integer is 18. How do you feel about that? Good? Okay. So you're going to work on just this 11 through 15 after you finish your quiz. 11 through 15. You may want a piece of blank notebook paper for your quiz. You may want a piece of blank notebook paper, but I don't feel like there's a whole lot of space. So let's see. All but 2 of these are multiple choice. So let me tell you about multiple choice. I don't typically give multiple choice, but I made this last night and just kind of switched it around a little bit. I made 3 versions of it. So if you get it wrong and you don't show any work to support it, like you get points for work. Are you guys accustomed to that? Like, or is it just right or wrong? It's just right or wrong? Okay, so I give work points. I want to see what you're thinking, right? So if you get the question wrong, but you set up the right equation or let's say that you had to first off divide both sides by 2, like you understood some of the math concepts, I'm gonna give you partial credit. It's not all gonna be wrong. But if you don't show your work, you can lose all 3 points. Yeah, you can use a calculator. So the calculators are over there, hanging up by Jordas. Just make sure that, and they're numbered, make sure you put it back in the right slot, please. You're welcome. You're welcome. What? Yes. You can actually, if you want, go to the restroom right now. Just make sure you sign out. Today is the 2nd. Chop is gonna go, and when he comes back, he can go to the restroom. Were you gonna ask if you need the restroom as well? So Chop, Alexis. All right, I'm gonna set a stapler up here and a folder. When you're finished, please make sure your name is on your test. You put your name on your quiz. And then I want you to staple your work to your quiz and put it in the folder, please, and thank you.